You good? Everything going here?
I think so. You might have to shut it down entirely to restart.
I'm not sure.
Or just
Where are these roped off? I don't know if they're roped off.
This is always right. Nobody wants to sit. Nobody wants to sit in front of it. Nobody wants to sit in front. Do you sit in the front or back? I must admit I sit in the last few because pretty much I'm late everywhere. So that's been easy for me to slide through, push my kids in, and sit
Very much
down.
spot. He's McGuffey guy.
Yeah, everything's there. I'm pretty sure that'll be no problem.
As long as you don't make me sitting on me. I figure in case they open the door and need somebody official.
Event, are you going to just out? What's your particular interest in the Texas facility?
Because he's a laborist. Yeah. Because of that?
Good morning. Welcome to the Beyond the Blue Jacket Showcase of Agricultural Education. One of the most iconic symbols of the FFA in agricultural education is this blue and gold jacket, worn by members of the National FFA organization for the past 80 years. And while this uniform is perhaps our most recognizable symbol, the purpose of this event today is to help you understand there's so much more that happens beyond, as well as behind, the blue FFA jacket. Because the FFA does not exist without the three components of a solid agricultural education program. And those are a strategically planned classroom and laboratory instruction in agricultural education, a supervised agricultural experience supervised outside of the classroom by a certified ag teacher, as well as the premier leadership, personal growth, and career success that's fostered by the National FFA organization. Today, we're here to spotlight how agricultural education programs at McGuffey High School, Trinity High School, and Fort Cherry High School here in Washington County truly prepare students to be successful in high-demand occupations in the agriculture, food, and natural resources industries. As part of our month-long celebration of February as Career and Technical Education Month, and as a kickoff to this week as National FFA Week. My name is David Bittner. I'm proud to serve as president of the Pennsylvania Agricultural Educators Association. I teach agriculture in Snyder County, Pennsylvania at Midwest High School. For Fort Cherry, Trinity, and McGuffey, as well as Midwest High School, are just 4 of the 150 agricultural education programs in Pennsylvania. And that's a huge success. But the problem is, the majority of students in Pennsylvania do not have access to a formal school-based agricultural education program at their home school. And that's the purpose of today's event. It's threefold. Number one, we want to educate you how high-quality programs, such as the ones that exist here in Washington County, can truly prepare students to be career and college ready to fulfill some of the most highly demanded occupations in Pennsylvania. Number two, we want to motivate you to vocalize your support for programs in agricultural education so that these programs do not cease to exist, but rather flourish and become stronger, better, and more equipped to truly help our students become career successful. And finally, we want you to reinvigorate your commitment to supporting programs such as those here at McGuffey, those at Fort Cherry and Trinity, to truly help Washington County be one of the most prosperous counties in the state that produces agricultural employees that are ready to go to college or ready to go straight into a career and fulfill these highly demanded occupations to strengthen Pennsylvania's #1 industry, which is agriculture. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Colton Lucas, a senior member of the H.G. Parkinson FFA chapter, to take us into the next portion of the program.
Thank you, Mr. Bittner. It is a pleasure to have the privilege of hosting everyone this morning for the Beyond the Blue Jacket Showcase. The 3 agricultural education programs in Washington County are Fort Cherry, Trinity, and here at McGuffey in General Agriculture and Agricultural Mechanics offer 25 elective courses to nearly 300 students in grades 9 through 12 who pursue a career in technical education in preparation for high-demand occupations as landscapers and groundkeepers, veterinary technicians and veterinary assistants, farm equipment mechanics and service technicians, as well as general maintenance and repair workers. We are also quite proud of our nationally ranked FFA chapter and the high-quality supervised agriculture experience programs of students here in Washington County. Today, we will hear from our distinguished guests in the opening session, tour the agriculture education facilities here in McGuffey, and showcase the career success of our students through a showcase of supervised agricultural experiences. One of these outstanding students is with us today to serve as MC for today's Beyond the Blue showcase. Please help me welcome to the stage Scarlett Wuya.
The success of our agricultural education program here at McGuffey High School is not without the leadership and support of our administrators in the McGuffey School District. With us this morning to bring greetings is the Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Erica Collette.
Good morning and welcome to McGuffey School District. Before we get started, please join me in a salute to our flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. On behalf of McGuffey School District, I would like to thank the Pennsylvania Association of Agricultural Educators and the Pennsylvania Departments of Agriculture, Community and Economic Development, and Education for selecting McGuffey School District to host today's event. Our agricultural education program serves as one way that McGuffey School District realizes its mission of enabling students to reach their full potential through the acquisition and application of knowledge and skills. Like many districts over the last few years, we have honed our focus on STEAM education as an effort to ensure our students embody the 21st century skills employers seek. As we consider ways to expand and increase our opportunities for children across multiple disciplines, we come back to our longest running STEAM program at McGuffey School District, our vocational agricultural education program. Our general agriculture program offers students a variety of experiences in areas such as plant science, greenhouse production, veterinary science, agricultural conservation and natural resources, floriculture design, landscape design, and agricultural leadership, just to name a few. Our program embodies the focused components and application of STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. Many of our STEAM opportunities originated from suggestions of stakeholders directly involved in our agricultural program. When a student became interested in preserving the declining population of honeybees, we researched the feasibility and added an apiary program on campus. Our teachers secured grant funding to construct a secure location that housed our hives, provided equipment to maintain the bees, and supplied seeds for flowers planted near the hives. This spring, approximately 80,000 honeybees will call McGuffey School District home, and we can't wait. When our OAC recognized the skill set that an agricultural mechanization program could provide, along with our general agricultural education program, we expanded our program offerings and hired a second agriculture education teacher to meet students' course demands. Now, students participate in agricultural mechanics experiences such as welding, agricultural construction, small gas engines, and advanced engines. Our FFA continues to provide resources and services to our school community. One example of many was when FFA senior leaders, along with Mrs. Cambruzzi, prepared, submitted, and received an FFA Food for All grant. This grant was used to support a year-long service learning project to assist local families with food and education. The passion, engagement, and skills that students in our vocational programs demonstrate continue to drive our resolve to support their learning opportunities. At a time when fiscal challenges impact the longevity of many programs, McGuffey School District remains committed to our agricultural education program and the STEAM experiences that prepare students for the future college or career experiences that they choose. We recognize that these experiences cannot and should not be reserved only for high school students. Next year, for the first time, our 8th graders at McGuffey Middle School will have an opportunity to choose an Introduction to Agriculture course. But we have not stopped here. Our commitment extends beyond the secondary level. This spring, funded through a competitive grant process, we will construct greenhouses at both Joe Walker Elementary School and Claysville Elementary School. These outdoor classrooms, of our board of directors, will have heat, electricity, and water.
Every single event.
And I've heard it before, I didn't think about it. If you ate, thank a farmer. That is so true. We sometimes forget that because we're so used to just going to buy packaged food and forgetting the work and toil that went into it. So I commend you for this. I would love to see this auditorium filled, because what you do is so important, and I'm glad to see all the Blue Jackets here. It was for a while becoming a real rarity to see a Blue Jacket. It used to be you saw them every place back in the 60s and 70s, and now we're starting to pick up a little bit. So I can commend you, young men and women, for continuing the tradition and continuing the job and continuing to keep Washington and Greene County, I know we got some Greene County folks here, a great place to live. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Larry Maggi, for also speaking on behalf of agricultural education and its importance to our community. Now, our keynote speaker and distinguished guest for today has become an agent of change for agriculture in Pennsylvania and is no stranger to Washington County, having graduated from McGuffey High School in 1999. He earned his bachelor's degree from Penn State in agricultural business management and went on to receive his master's in business administration from Delaware Valley College. He worked within the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture for 7 years and is now the Community Outreach Manager for the Marcellus Shale Coalition. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium Mr. Eric Cowden.
Thank you all, and it's great to be here. When David asked me to help out today, I was thrilled, first of all, and then I sort of took a step back and thought what that would mean, and that potentially that we would be opening up the session in the auditorium, which meant I would probably have to tell you that as a freshman here, I was Prince Dauntless in Once Upon a Mattress, so on this very stage. So I was trying to remember the songs and my lines, but of course that's been a while ago. So, but this stage is very important to my past and to my present, and all the opportunities that this school has provided for me along the way. There's some very important people out in the audience today that I just can't. I can't start without thanking, and as you young folks that are in your blue jackets today have special advisors that have helped you along the way and will continue to help you along the way. My FFA advisor is here today, Mr. Lane. He's still around. They didn't have to wheel him in or anything. Walked in all by himself. But certainly a pillar of the community, serves on the school board now and gives back in a lot of ways still to the McGuffey FFA program. But those are the kind of people that you need to just make sure you stop and thank once in a while. I know that Robin and Jody and John and Renee are all here today as advisors of the FFA. Mr. Hughes at West Green, and those are thankless, endless jobs sometimes. Where you're putting much more than your earned time into them. You're putting way beyond those hours in. But from all of us, we thank you for making it such an important part of your mission to make these differences and these opportunities available to young people. As Scarlett mentioned, I did have the opportunity after graduation from college to work at the Department of Agriculture for 7 years, and in that position I got to travel to all 67 counties across the Commonwealth and get to see a lot of different school programs and how they operate and how their ag ed operates within their schools. And it was always so humbling to get an opportunity to do that. But there was just a little part of me, and I get to say this today, that was always so proud to tell my story and the opportunities that McGuffey and Fort Cherry and back at it now Trinity as one of the original chapters from 80 years ago. We're so glad to have them back in full swing again. But these are model programs that stand proud and tall across the entire Commonwealth. And as the Senator and Commissioner Maggi both mentioned, when you go to a place like the Farm Show or any sort of statewide where these programs all sort of converge together, you're awfully proud to be from Washington County. So again, congratulations on a wonderful day as you sit here today and showcase these opportunities. In my speech class in high school, Mrs. Ruffalo, most of you would know Mrs. Ruffalo, there are three things. You only need to remember three things, and that sort of gets you flowing on your talk. But I do want to mention just those three things: the opportunities, that you all have, those connections that you're given to make, and also those relationships that you have to build upon. When I think of the opportunities that these Blue Jackets provide to students across all parts of agriculture. And as it was mentioned in the opening, I do have a chance now to work for the Marcellus Shale Coalition, which has brought a lot of new opportunity and unique opportunity to the entire Commonwealth, but specifically here in the southwestern corner of the state. And the Ag Ed programs in these communities have embraced that. And that's what's important, is you see an opportunity, you take advantage of that opportunity. You embrace the opportunity that is given to you. And so, as Dr. Collette had mentioned, a second teacher was brought in to foster those programs that industry can use to get students that are out the door ready to go into the workforce. And I think that embracing an opportunity like that is so key to the success of any program. You have to be nimble. It's not the same as it was in 1999. It's much different now than it was in 1968, as the commissioner mentioned. And to not take those opportunities to their full advantage would be foolish. So I applaud all the districts for embracing those opportunities and making sure that they take full advantage of them. When I think of the connections, today's the perfect opportunity to talk about connections. Each of you here maybe had a chance to meet some of our state FFA officers that come from across the Commonwealth. Mr. Brammer has an opportunity to bring them out here today. We thank them for making the trip out. And I hope that students that are within the 4 chapters that are represented here today take some time to get to know your state FFA officers. Because when you come back around later in life, you're going to be surprised. My college roommate is one of the ag advisors here today. So how would you have ever expected that? You wouldn't. But you build those relationships, and you after you take advantage of those opportunities, you make those connections, and you make those connections strong. And then you continue by building the relationship. You make sure that you foster a good camaraderie, that you extend an olive branch, that you reach out and say, how can I help you? What is it that I can do to make your job a little bit easier? And building those relationships and making those connections and fostering a good sense of community support and taking advantage of those opportunities are the only things that can make you move forward. And I think that that's the important take home today, is that districts like McGuffey, Fort Cherry, Trinity, and all of them in Washington County we're so proud of, but with their Ag Ed programs, specifically the FFA programs, they're moving forward. And that's what today's about, beyond the blue jacket, and how do you move forward. So again, congratulations on a big win today. We could not have done it without all the community support in the room today. And just one last thanks to those FFA advisors out there. They're really special people that deserve a lot of credit. So thank you.
Mr. Cowden, thank you for your tireless efforts to foster career success through the promotion of industry partnerships through agricultural education in our public schools, and for your efforts to develop students who are truly career and college ready to enter Pennsylvania's agricultural workforce.
As Executive Ventura County Workforce Investment Board for 15 years, our final speaker worked to strengthen Pennsylvania's workforce by strengthening pipelines for students, retirees, veterans, and those previously incarcerated to access training and retraining to obtain high-paying jobs and in high-priority occupations. Last year, he was appointed Special Assistant for the Workforce Development within the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture and is here today to share his initiatives to develop the future workforce for the agriculture, food, natural resource industries in Pennsylvania. Please welcome to the podium, Mr. Scott Shealy.
Thanks. Real pleasure to be here with you today. I thought before I started, I've been at the farm show too. And this year, as a farm show staff person, I had the chance to spend 76 hours there in 1 week. But they had me down by the where the chickens usually are. And of course, the first question was, where's the chickens? You know, well, they're not there because of the avian influenza problem. And then we had our posters set up. We had a career information booth and all the rest of it. But they put me next to the bunnies. And so I had bunnies and alpacas really the whole time. And it was really interesting because we had speakers that were coming in to talk about the careers. And we'd get 25 or 30 people who would stop in the midst of their flow through the farm show and all the rest of it. But when when the bunnies came out, and they had the bunnies that actually jump over their hurdles, there would be 100 people that would be in attendance and watching that whole thing. I probably watched that show about 15 or 20 times. And the guy that always won was the little dwarf bunny, and little gray guy. And he could jump literally about that high. And he not only did it once, he did it 3 times as he jumped through it. And the guy would come out of the cage, and he would just be ready to go, just like that. So I was really impressed. I learned a lot about bunnies in the course of the farm show. Also had a chance to talk to an awful lot of people about agriculture careers. So what I want to share with you today is basically a little of what's going on in the Department of Agriculture. You probably know from the introduction here that we have done these events in cooperation with our partners at the Department of Education and Department of Community and Economic Development at several other locations around the Commonwealth. So, you know, each of these events, David and I were talking about it, have been different each time. David has been with the Pennsylvania Association of Agriculture Educators and Mike Brammer with FFA. They have also been our partners in this, and really David is the guy to thank for all of it. So hopefully you'll do that after the session. But what we've been trying to do is to really lift up not only ag education, but talk a little bit about the fact that we have a big problem when it comes to careers in the agriculture and food industry, at least in the next 10 years, if not in the next 20 years. Because the ag industry, like so many other industries, is going to be very much affected by all of us baby boomers who are going to be retiring. So let me talk a little bit about that. When I came to the department in 2015, I knew that Secretary Redding, who is our leader there, is really, he gets this thing that we need to address the whole issue of workforce development and the shortage of workers that we're going to have. And that was one of the reasons that I came on board. The other thing that Secretary Redding said is that we need to be thinking about agriculture in just a little bit different way than we have in the past. In the past, the Department of Agriculture definitely deals with production agriculture. It has a very strong connection to the hardwood industry, close ties to horticulture, so there's a variety of these kind of traditional connections. The Secretary said what we really need to be thinking about is when we think of agriculture, we need to immediately think of the food system. It's ag and food. It's a bigger kind of thing. It's not just production, but it's also the people who process the food, who make the food, who package the food, and who get it out to the consumer as well. So that's kind of where I began my work, is to begin thinking about what does that broader industry look like. So we have some new definitions. We've been working with some new numbers as we have begun to talk about that. And if you're interested in this, we have some materials that are out here on the table. The other part is, as we look at this newly conceived industry, what does it actually look like? How big is it? How big a part of the Pennsylvania economy is it? How many jobs does it generate, not only directly in the industry, but also because of all the other connections? So we have begun charting that as well. And then the big question really is, so when we look at that industry and we look at down the line, the next 10 to 20 years, what is its needs in terms of human capital? Where are the job openings? What are the occupations that we need most in that industry? So we have been careful to go where the numbers lead us, And the projections tell us as far as where those occupations will be. And we've identified over 25 occupations that we think will be the demand occupations for the next 10 to 20 years. Some of them are up here on these posters. Many of them are jobs that people don't normally associate with agriculture. Yes, there are veterinarians. Yes, there are farmers. Yes, there are dairy herdsmen. Yes, there are vet techs. But there are also people in the food processing industry, people that make the big batches of food, people that run the packaging equipment, people that do the material handling to move the food in and out. These are all occupations that we need to be thinking about as we begin to develop this kind of broader conception of what those occupations are. We estimate, and here's where the big problem issue comes, we estimate that over the next 10 years there will be approximately 75,000 openings across Pennsylvania in these occupations as we go forward. Now that's a lot of people. Again, a lot of it is because we are not only experiencing growth in some of these industries, but also we have to replace the workers who are leaving because of retirements and such. So the next question really was, if we have these careers, where are the pathways? How do people actually get into those careers? Where are the on-ramps? Where are the off-ramps? How do we get credentials into the mix of it? So that's really kind of where we're at now. One of the things we realized right away was when we started talking about ag careers, people said, well, tell us more about that career. So that's what these posters are about. There's mini posters that basically we can give out to people. Hopefully we'll have these up on the website and people can actually download those. People just need to have some basic information about what are these occupations, what are they all about, and how do you get into them and that kind of thing. So we've spent a good deal of time with that. I had the privilege of actually taking some of these pictures. And the guys down there at the end told me the cattle crossing is just about a mile down the field here. And let's walk down there because that would be the best place to get the picture. It don't seem like a lot further than a mile. But, and then with the butcher, I mean, he's from a local supermarket, believe it or not. And, you know, we took some pictures out in front, and he says, you probably want to come back here, you know, where we cut the meat. And he said, would you like me to get my tools? I said, sure, you know, get your tools. And he unwrapped in a cloth those great big knives that he has there. And I could tell the man was so proud. You know, that's the tools of his trade. And he brought those out, and, you know, that's how we took the picture of this. But so many of these jobs that we're looking at are really jobs that are kind of the basic kind of production jobs. And the place where we seem to have the most trouble is kind of in the middle level. People who have these kind of trades and technician types of jobs, these seem to be the folks that we need the most. Because here we're not only experiencing the shortage of workers, but we're also experiencing technology coming to play. It's this middle tier is where a good deal of the STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, skills and knowledge comes to play. And yes, we need the people who are kind of at the top of the pyramid as well, as far as the scientists and the engineers, the folks who go to Penn State and to Del Val, that we need them as well. But it seems that middle level is the one where we have the most issues. So we have been trying to depict these, put the information out. We had the farm show. We had this chance. We're going to many, many career events as we go forward. But we hope that as all of you who are involved in FFA and ag education do your work, that you begin to bring these in. I know there's a good deal of this already, but bring in this issue of ag ed or ag careers and make it more specific in terms of what's going on. We are working on a variety of career pathways because we know that's the way education thinks about these jobs. We are working on what's called work-based learning. How do we find ways, and this is very complementary to what FFA does, of bringing those work-based learning experiences into the education world. We believe that there is an answer to this kind of gap that we see in the Commonwealth, where we have a very robust and active high school vocational agriculture program, And we have very good schools in Penn State and Delaware Valley where people can earn the higher degrees. We think there's kind of a gap in between. And we think that that can be filled by beginning to look at things like what we would call micro-credentials, short-term courses that teach specific skills that can be put together in some way or another that people can get academic. We think it's a very good possibility, and linking those back to FFA and high school programming is a real possibility. We think that apprenticeship holds some, not the traditional apprenticeship, the time-based kind of apprenticeship activities, but rather a competency-based apprenticeship where you show that you can do the job and you kind of earn that and get tested on that as you go. Don't forget, an apprentice is hired as an employee. So this is an after-school activity or an after-graduation activity where employers actually hire these folks and continue their training then after high school. So how do I actually translate what we want to do in the career end of things, the knowledge, skills, and abilities to curriculum? So we've produced a guide that we're putting out to both counselors and teachers, basically saying, here's what you need to know about these 25 plus occupations. Here's how they translate back to the competencies used in agriculture. Here's how they go back to the Keystone standards and that sort of thing. We also have used this because it's been surprising to us as we have gotten this information out, how many other systems are very interested in this. The veterans service folks are agriculture and food for veterans. They're directly applicable to the skills in these occupations that we're highlighting. This actually lists all the military occupation service codes and actually can help a veterans counselor to do that kind of thing. People from the rehabilitation community, people who are working with folks who are coming out of prison or who are recovering from drug and alcohol issues. These are great transitional jobs as well, and they are very interested. You know, we have a lot of folks who have come forward and expressed an interest in this work that we're doing in trying to define much better agriculture and food careers. One of the most exciting things that's happening is that Secretary Redding, the Secretary of Education and Agriculture, have agreed to bring a committee together to actually take a look at agriculture education and across the Commonwealth. And we're in the process of vetting the members for that. And we think that that will be a fruitful exercise because we take very seriously the responsibility to bring that information back to the legislature. We have some things that we need to do to move it down the line. So in the midst of everything that I've talked about, we have tried to stay very much in contact with the industry. From my work with the Workforce Investment Board in Lancaster, ask the industry what it needs. First of all, they'll tell you. Trying to keep the industry at the table. So I'm hoping that there's some folks here from your Occupational Advisory Committee. After the tour, we want to spend a little bit of time with you, just getting some ideas. I promise you it won't be a burden. Yes, we'll be in a classroom, but you know, we experience with the Ag Ed program and what's going on. So I guess basically, you know, to sum it up, we have a kind of newly conceived way of thinking about agriculture within the agriculture, work with very specific kind of careers that we've information out and around. Trying to hook those careers to career pathways, to actual curriculum training that already exists, and also looking at the possibility that we may need to have some new kind of training that develops into gaps that exist there as well. And always staying in touch with industry. If we don't have industry with us, we've lost the battle. So we really need to make sure that we stay relevant as we move forward. So again, congratulations to you here in the schools in Washington County. Privileged to be here. Bring you greetings from Secretary of Agriculture Russell Redding, who's my boss. And what I see as such a positive movement is how many programs we're starting up again, or new programs that are starting. This says to me that career technical education is alive and well, and it also says to me that agriculture education in Pennsylvania is also alive and well and growing. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here.
Mr. Shealy, thank you for your commitment to developing Pennsylvania's workforce through agriculture education and your work in promoting our programs as premier vector to students throughout the Commonwealth. And now, this concludes the opening session of the Beyond the Blue Jacket Showcase of Agriculture Education. That's the McGuffey FFA chapter will lead us into the next.
Good morning. As you said, I'm Mallory Hamilton. I'm the chaplain of the McGuffey FFA chapter, and I will be guiding a tour of our McGuffey Ag department, and we will be highlighting SAE and student projects, and Hannah Virgil and I will escort you down to our ag facilities. Thank you.